Okay, good afternoon. So we're going to do a little test, and then we're going for these ultimate abilities, and I want to get to a point where the ultimate abilities all feel good, all function as they should, and have that feeling that they need. But first, we're going to do a quick play test. We're going to play as Beanie. Oh wait, no, we haven't unlocked Beanie yet. I know we have because of the cheat. So hopefully, just with the build and run, we can do this. Yeah, getting lost in the weeds a bit. Well, just kind of going through the code in some places. I have these notes and I'm like, when is a good time to do that? Because it's not just you add something to your list and then you just do it next. You have to say, okay, but does this have dependencies? Does it create dependencies? And putting it in the right, and do you have any deadlines? And yeah, kind of prioritizing things like that. But yeah, let's get this off the list, and then we'll get a big old chunky, like we'll spend a solid day or two just doing SFX, making sure everything has a sound effect and that it feels right, and just kind of perking our ears up. I'll stop talking for a bit so I can just listen to the game. Yeah. This is fixed. I love taking things off the list. Lovely. And then we sort of start to get this starts creeping higher and higher, and as we kind of go through things. But the ultimate abilities should be tuned. Although I could say that, well, yeah, because I might want them for the trailer and so on. Okay, I guess we're yeah, let's just turn that right down, because otherwise you can't hear me talk. And I wonder if I can just quit the game. And now I get the character select, and I'll pick Beanie. This is looking nice with all the characters in, although we can do better. But yeah, Beanie. Because I'm kind of just playing in order of like what the story events are. Last night I played as Sean and it went really well. Now I'll play as Beanie. I guess I'll play as all of the human characters and just make sure they're all good. And I know that her ultimate looks great now, or it looks better than it did. And so Beanie's always an awkward start, though this is more awkward. You just need to make sure every single one of your damn arrows hits, and so you can kind of like, this is a nice little technique to win as Beanie, but we need to get that next level up as soon as possible, because otherwise we're going to get overwhelmed and then it's kind of a dead run. Okay, so we will go for Shield Bearer, and we'll do that. So yeah, this guy will block a few hits, stay alive for a bit. And I'm in a bit of trouble with these wargs, which is why I think I'm going to lose. Yep. Okay. I think I just need a bit of a better start. Yeah, oh, that's not right. That's not right at all. Huh. Random one then. All leaves showing being start. So that's not good. Well, let's well, yeah, because we're going to do it differently. We're going to do so the whole beanstalk is going to change. So that's one of the reasons I'm not really worried about fixing things there. But I might not have time to change it before Bullet Fest, and I want to have it changed by then. Lovely. Okay, we've got 3 archers. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, we will go shield bearer again. Just try and draw them off my guys for as long as possible. Okay, I think heal's not going to be great. So let's see. I think shield bearer is the best pick there. So now we've got a little wodge of shield bearers. They're all going to kind of cover each other. So we've got a little phalanx going. Which works nicely. I will pick a weapon. A melee weapon. So I can really just do some damage where it's needed. Okay, that block text can be a bit smaller. Okay, let's go for... I guess we could get the rogue. No, I want to do my ranged thing. And expect to dominate. Yeah, shield bearers are really good. Let's go with a nicer boat. Yep, nice. Yeah, it's good because like among the things I've done since adding the new factions is let's get damage. Is like I have overhauled the way shield code worked a bit, so it's nice just finally getting to the point where I can kind of really focus my attention and pay attention to the shield bearers. Okay, you can use mouse wheel or shoulder buttons to zoom in and out. That's nice. And yeah, let's go with ranger. And yeah, we got a nice thing. The shield bearers are blocking, staying alive, not getting killed, while the archers shoot. It works. Yeah. Most survivor-like games don't have that kind of mechanics. So yeah, okay. Confirmation that the game is working, and we have luck and damage. They don't synergize. They don't combine. So let's get something that combines or focus on damage. I say focus on damage. And yeah, I'm liking those new talent sprites. They're not amazing, but they're better than they were before. Significant improvement. Okay, let's improve what we have. And I guess because this synergizes with 2 things, or this also is good. So let's go with this. Like it sort of seems it fits, right? And I can be quite useful at actually beating guys. Okay. Yeah, and the new ranges look nice, much better than they were before. Let's go with I guess boots. I just want to add the phrase gameplay tip to that. So Where is that? That's tutorial. I did have some thoughts about that and about the sort of leveling up. Let's turn it down a bit. About leveling up for healing, like getting a heal when you level up. And I guess my conclusion was, oh god, those guys are they're just pushing him. That's kind of funny. And I was thinking about the idea of, oof, is that a bit too loud? So yeah, lots of SFX, lots of arrows, too loud. So we could just lower the base volume of that, or double check that shooting projectile. Okay. But yeah, anyway, so I was thinking about like armor working as a, you know, like an extra health bar, and that armor like slowly comes back, right? I should consider that for sure. I should try it. So like armor slowly comes back, meaning you can take a bit of damage before taking any permanent damage. Try changing armor to be like a second HP bar. It recharges. Also artifacts which relate with armor. Because that could be interesting. So you have armor, and then you could say the hero has a decent bit of armor, and then you could probably get rid of the heal on... I mean, it's just going to drastically change the game, but it's worth trying, right? I mean, that's kind of where we're at. It doesn't... Well, it drastically changes the game in terms of gameplay and balance, but it doesn't change, like, the mechanics. Like, we just say we have to add a second HP bar. It won't be too hard to do in terms of code, like... And then you can have... talents like armor is, and then armor can be a bit different rather than just a damage reduction. It's just it relates to armor now, and you could have things like armored HP goes down half as slow or half as fast, or you could have things like when armor breaks, something happens, like there's an explosion, or a chicken drops, or a mana gem drops, and you could have. And then healing becomes like less essential. You could go for an armor build, and then the blacksmith could increase. Okay. And then that gives us more space for like more interesting character designs. So, for example, we do want to get rid of floating shield, and I'm not sure how exactly to do that. I'm not sure how exactly to do that. Except if we have like space for characters whose whole job is like armor and armor maintenance, then that kind of changes everything. And you can have characters that have more armor, and you could have it that they do more damage based on the amount of armor they have as an artifact. Oof. Oh, I think that might be a good shout, actually. I don't know why I didn't think of that before. I guess it was just another layer of complexity that I didn't want to think about, but that would actually work really well. Oof, I'm excited about this. It kind of makes all my playtests at the moment redundant though, because it's going to be completely different when we have this mechanic. But I think this might be a better way of doing armor, just because having more like game mechanics that are like can be messed with, you know. More damage per armor / anything per armor damage is halved. Do something when armor breaks. Also can include characters / weapons that focus on armor maintenance. A weapon which straight up does damage depending on armor. You could have ones like characters, weapons reset. That'll come naturally with the code. When their armor breaks, which would be really cool. Things that get armor whenever you do damage. Armor is an effect of other artifacts. Yeah, like weapons that do damage based on how much armor you have, and then you like get all the like you raise your maximum armor and you get buffs that improve your armor and you get all kinds of things, and then you get seriously high damage from having high armor, and that could be an artifact, but that can apply to all of your weapons, or it can be a weapon that each faction has, or a character that each faction has that has a weapon that does damage based on armor, and that every faction should have that, barring maybe one. So you would have like maybe the undead wouldn't have that, because they're all about, or the orcs wouldn't have like. So the humans would be really good at armor. The orcs would be like there'd only be a few characters that like it's less common. But then an armor build becomes like a really good build for humans. And then we can kind of, think of things like, this is really good. I mean, this game deserves some love and time. I think it has the potential to be really, really good. Yeah, make this UI look nice. Okay, yeah, I'm having a good time with this game. For sure. This is fun. Okay, let's have a better bow. Oh, that's a revelation. That's my favourite part about game design. Because you could just say armor system, but it's like, I feel like the fact that I've played the game a bit means that actually that means something. Still way too loud. Maybe it's just my headphones are too loud. No, not really. Okay, let's get a mage. Yeah, block's a bit too heavy-handed. The text there. Minor things. But yeah, this setup works. That's what I like about it. Yeah, let's get the witch. And then what we have is we have our 3 ranged units plus shields. And so far that's been a really good build. Okay, let's get that final boat. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. And it's running smoothly, which is not easy for sure. Cool, thank you. All allied projectiles gain 1 chain. That's really good. Lovely. Good fun. Yeah, I'd say all those sound effects are a bit loud. I guess like the thing to do would be kind of lower it globally. So yeah, it's still too loud. Lower it globally, but also kind of make it that if like, yeah, so the more effects, make it so the more effects are playing, the quieter they get. Could be tricky because like that will have to run every time we order a sound effect, but it could also be quite straightforward. We just change the value. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, it does get a bit noisy. And it's to be expected. But yeah, we can kind of massage reality a bit and make it so that that's not the case. So yeah, this guy's just being tanked. Feels like his attack speed was really fast. Yeah, why is that? So that will be the first time he's spawned. Is yeah, so balancing like, so first of all, like big weapon balance is scimitar 4 too fast. Why was the glutton that spawned so fast? That guy's not too fast. Yeah, I mean, for loop on attack speed, yeah. Code mustn't use while loop on targeting and weapon cooldowns. Better to make temporary list. Hopefully that's not tricky. So it's like we add all of the characters in a team to a list which already exists. Like we don't make a fresh one, and then do a for each for them. Shouldn't be too difficult. I think adding a whole set of one list to another isn't difficult. Yeah, use better to make a temporary list. Okay, good. That crit rate's doing its work. The hero is powerful. It's very powerful, which makes sense. But could the spear be a bit overtuned? I mean, we do have damage and crit. Maybe damage and crit are too powerful. Like, they could just be tuned down a bit. Like, yeah, tuned down. Because it seems that if we have damage and crit, and the hero goes in with a weapon, an upgraded weapon, then they just kill them way too quickly. But maybe that's fine. Maybe that's just a matter of ramping up the difficulty more. Ooh, purple chest. Yeah, I like those fireworks. I like that. That's good. I should probably get a heal. Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and get the tower. Oh, nice. That should be fun. I'm actually excited to use that since I've recently updated the graphics on it. Oh, it looks lovely. Might be a bit too powerful though. I suppose it's kind of limited by like most of them just won't hit. Okay, let's go ahead and get, so we've got like a shield user now, but we do have this, so we kind of want as much ranged as possible. So that seems like a good pick. We can get throwing daggers. Yeah, they're much bigger now. That's working nicely. Lovely. Lovely. Yep, we're kind of smashing it, so I don't know if the game's a bit too easy at the moment. Let's see, can I just wipe these guys out by myself? I kind of can. So yeah, balancing. I mean, maybe that's fine. It's a power fantasy, you know, like, yeah, I'm ripping them to shreds. I've got a good weapon. But yeah, maybe the spear is overtuned. Like, it seems that high AoE weapons, just because of the way artifacts work mainly, are just really powerful. But you know, we've got good synergy between our artifacts and our build, because we've got lots of ranged characters with this big chain thing. So like that's decent. That's fun. I feel like I should be dominating, but I just wonder if we can throw some more enemies at the player. Maybe then, like if we're this powerful, I want to see a lot more orcs. Like big mega wave, because yeah, we're just outnumbering them every time. Like big mega waves. Oh, I don't know if I want that. I think I have to get it though. So everyone gets a dagger. Let's hope this doesn't bug out. But yeah, you see a mage has spawned and he has a dagger. Okay, debuff, stoic. I think debuff is better for this build. orcs. They just had a good assault and then they just immediately get... So yeah, all of our debuffs have a chance of being doubled. Add buff, new buff. Yeah, we'll see. Because yeah, I think there's an issue with, if you've been watching these streams, you know there's a bug that I'm really scared of trying to fix. I don't know how. It's not that dire, but if it is there, it does need fixing, and I have no idea why it's happening, or it's to do with, I think, buffs. I just had like a couple goblins that just suddenly were like machine gunning, and I'm like, how is that possible? It's something to do with resurrect maybe, which again kind of becomes a non-priority because I'm not going to let you play as the undead in the, or at least if that's a bit broken, it's fine. Okay, we could get buffs here, but I think let's do this. Let's get the next tower. And now, just when they thought maybe they had a decent assault on us, they get ultimated. Yeah, nice. So yeah, we didn't pick the block thing. I would re-roll if I could. That shouldn't be showing a combo because we already have that, unless I didn't do that. So I think Bannerman would probably be good. Although I think I might have locked myself now. I can't make any more combos. Well, that's fine. This is a good team. It's a good squad. I think, yeah, death rattle explosions from T2 characters should be much more powerful. It should be like scary. It should be like, oh shit, don't kill that one. But there's not really a lot you can do about it. I much prefer this ultimate effect. Very happy I did that today. It just looks way more impressive, way more powerful. Much clearer that it's happening, like there's no way you're missing that. But it's not like too in your face either. I hope. Okay, what can we get? We should get something that combines with one of these. Let's not lock ourselves in. And attack speed doesn't combine with either of those, so I think the pick is this. Larger enemies should... So yeah, actually, I think I'll just do this right away. So when we make an enemy and go T2, multiply enemy buff. So actually, I just need to go into enemy buff. And it should also have character dot range and AoE, I think. wait, so character is character container. Oh yeah, no, we do character.range, range x, character.aoe x should also receive that buff. Tier 2 enemy buff, yeah, they get that. And I think probably this one as well. I want them to be scarier. Oh, a lot of orcs over here. It seems they've managed to thin a few of our number, or they've just expired. Lovely bomb. Icicle seems like a good choice. Has a combo and is a ranged weapon. Okay, this is getting a bit more intense. We are losing units. So we're not dominating too much. So I feel like the balance is there. Yep. Oh, hello. Take that. Yeah, towers are interesting. I mean, I just like these, like, yeah, these characters that just, you know, like, it doesn't change your strategy much, but the towers just kind of, yeah, they spread the enemy out a bit. Like, they have to work through the towers, but then you got all these isolated towers that get taken out. But that's kind of what a tower is, isn't it? So yeah, that works. Lovely, lovely. Lovely, lovely. Okay, but we are in some trouble here. We need to get another tier 2 unit because the towers can't hold this army together themselves. Alright, killer buff, chance to gain a random buff on kill to restore. We do have crit, we do have throwing daggers. Okay, let's see how that goes. So yeah, you can see I'm getting quite a bit of mana from attacking these guys. Yeah, let's get crit and poison then. Or yeah, I guess we want the crit, so the best choice would probably be the rations to combo with damage there. And you know, more HP is never a bad thing. It's not always the best, but yeah. Okay, getting some footing again. Oh, big horde of orcs. But yeah, you can see I'm getting decent mana from critting, and then I get a bit of mana back from the crits that happen from my ultimate, so that's fun. That's what I call fun. That's what I call game. Okay. Yeah, and then we can do another one, but let's hold it. Lovely. Yeah. That was complete waste. Never mind, we get it back so fast. And I do have to be a bit careful because I can lose all my health and get that chicken. But we do have healing. Okay, let's get this. Yeah, this is a really good run. Just in terms of it feeling balanced and it being fun and it looking good and running well and no bugs so far. Yeah, almost got all my mana back for another ulti. So let's do it. And then we might as well just hit this on cooldown because we have the crits. We get the mana. Yeah, we're hunting them now, right? Let's go. Beautiful. Yeah, so I don't feel her ultimate is lacking in game feel. Besides the sort of finer points of animation and, you know, all that good stuff. Nice. Nice. Lovely. Yep. It's just my stuff is working right. We've got less than 2 minutes. Okay. Yeah. One more minute. Let's get that clutch. Last minute loot goblin. Ice beam. Amazing. Beautiful. Having fun with this one. Yeah, so it's like we going back to that idea of like a versus thing. Like we changed the looter to be the versus hero, and they would have like favored classes as well that would just appear a bit more often. Got me. Okay, good stuff. Oh, I'm really happy. The game is working. The game is there. Right. Beanie's still fun to play. So that felt like balanced. It never felt like I was too on top. It never felt like it was too easy. Just felt right, I think. So very pleased, very pleased with that run. Very pleased. Okay. So I'm not going to worry about that because I'm going to update the beanstalk, but it should definitely, whichever thing I do, it should be before Bullet Fest. Right. Ultimate abilities. I said ultimate abilities. Is that there? Balancing. Okay, yeah, let's just... okay, yeah, and I did that. So that's going to change things. It's going to make the enemy stronger for sure. So if that run felt too easy, fear not. Because, yeah. Buffs being removed properly. Okay, yeah, and that's bugs. And let's put everything below ultimates. And, in fact... I should really just focus on the ones, just to begin with, focus on the ones that are like post Bullet Fest. Like, sorry, that are not, that are in the demo, or at least that we expect to put in the trailer. Like, yeah, it would be good to have like a bit where we see all the ultimate abilities, you know? And, yeah. So the next thing I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to play a bit as Jack in game, in Unity, and then I'm going to have a little think, and then I'm going to do his ultimate animation. He needs that, and just make it right. Like, yeah, I think like a... So he does like a dash. So I'll do that all. Do it a couple times in game. With the mana cheat. And then have a smoke while I think about what it should look like. Yeah, so he like... So we want to get rid of that big... We want to have like a trail behind him. Because at the moment we've just used the slash effect, so it would be like a trail whoosh. And then with like... With like a sort of circle coming out, right? Or maybe like a fan of knives. I think that might be a bit too Warcrafty. Although maybe that is kind of... People like to see the things they recognize. Or just... Yeah, no, just a radial slash. Because this is like... Just a slash. If we just had like a... So we have the trail... And then we've got the radial slash, and I think I'll animate those separately. Let's start with the trail. So just like a trail that he's like gone really fast. And one thing I'll do just quickly is check. This should be in player controller really, but it's not a priority right now. Direction, yeah, let's make it further. And we'll have like the trail appear behind him. It will like come, yeah, it will start from, so he'll do like that and it will go like, whoosh, and then fade out. Yeah, nice. Okay, be right back. different thing. Okay, we can use this file. No, that's so. I think I'll use like the beam for reference. I'll make a new one. I can use this. Yeah, I'm really surprised that Falling Arrow looked as good as it did. Let's put in magic effects for now. One word. So resize, I guess, to like 500. Let's do 64 by 500. Got our like off-white there. We'll do a nice thick straight line. So first he like moves, and then from the bottom to the top it will make like a line. And we'll do like we did the arrow, because I guess that worked. We'll do halfway, just so that there's some animation there, and then we'll do all the way. And then yeah, I guess it spreads out. Don't know why I'm doing it like this. It's felt natural. This doesn't have to be exact. I guess I'm just giving myself time to think. Okay, and then we have like yeah, I guess I'll just do like the same kind of style. And I think what I should do is kind of just start by being quite basic and just blocking it out and testing it, and then I can kind of see where I've gone wrong. And then yeah, actually I guess we flip it. And then it's gone. Yeah, I mean, I think that'll work. So where do we store that? I think we'll just store it. Okay, let's move these over. Player controller. Like all of this. To player controller. And then the player controller is accessing that anyway, right? So And then I just need to paste this a bunch of times. Nice. So far so good. Not thinking about whether this is good code or not. I'm just fixing this. It's a bit of work, but this is where it should go. Quite tedious, not too interesting, but has to be done. Right. Okay, so that's now in here. Why did I want to do that? Can't remember. Like, obviously it's better here, it makes more sense, but I can't remember why I needed to. So we have this. We can export this to Jack Dash, just Magic Effects for now. Lovely tidy folder here. Oh. Okay. And then we go into Unity. Oh, we were thinking about where to put it. Yeah, that's what it was. What's it? I can't remember. Is it? Yeah, and then how do I do headers? Something I need for headers. System look connections. Yeah, why can't I do that? Does it have to be above something? It does. Okay, interesting. You'd think it would just not if there's nothing below it. Okay, so Yeah, I guess battle cry is an ultimate effect. But we would have public, it could just be a game object. Like that, like I probably I mean, yeah, you might want to use object pooling here, especially if it plugs into how your system works. But there's just really no need. It's easier to do it like this for now. So I do ultimate effects, jack dash, and then on the do ultimate, we find jack. Oh, we can get rid of the battle cries, yeah. Performability. This should also be a switch case, but I'm not worried about that right now. Okay, so we'll do part of it by having, yeah, and then I've got to do the look at thing. No, it doesn't need to be from like that. Okay, so we want it to be so direction. So it's the move direction, and if it's 0, then it's like that. So what if we just use that direction? See what we end up with. And okay, yeah, let's see how that works, because I feel like that will probably just work. And then we'll make a magic effect prefab. We'll use the slash as a base, or actually I think we have. It's just using slash, the sword slash effect. Yeah, it's using that. So it'll be something similar. Except, first thing, just the easiest way for me to do it, remove the animation. It's not an AoE effect. I'm not using pooling. We'll do a destroy after at, let's say, 1 second. Let's say 3 seconds, 4. So it's just a very simple thing. Did I just change something? I did, yeah. Very simple. And then, so one thing, It's in magic effects. Jack dash. Set this up so it looks nice and pixely. Hit apply, open the sprite editor, slice. Pivot is the bottom. Cell size 64 by I think 500. Yeah. Apply. And yeah, just animate it across. Okay, let's see how that goes. So we'll pop that on. So yeah, that's that. Oh, and forgot to do this a couple times recently. Just no loop time. Oh, and for some reason, Jack dash animation. Yeah, no loop time. And then need to set that up. Character, player controller, Jack dash. Should probably add the component in game just because it's probably unnecessary bits. Oh, and where does Battlecry live? There it is. So let's see how broken this is. Oh, with the block effect, something I forgot to do. Should just be a little bit higher. And same would go for this, I guess. Okay, see how this goes. See how broken it is. Oh, say fam, how's it going? Oh, that's pissed. Well, I actually did. I might be hearing from, because I spoke to them again recently, and I might be hearing from the Star Citizen people in the near future about potentially something good happening. So yeah, I'll let you know if that happens. Yeah, so we're just going to play as Jack and try and do that. Yeah, fingers crossed. I think it went well. Okay, well that's something. Okay, but so I guess I forgot to position it. It's very stupid, but and I think it might be a bit strong. Should be easy to like scale it down without it looking weird. Okay, so because I guess I need to kind of manually match the length of the sprite to how far he actually dashes. Yeah, so that's obviously way too long. But at least the directional stuff is working. Yeah, so let's I think 750 might be the number. And then what we can do is, just for now at least, because yeah, we're gonna have to like manually match this up. I don't think it would be very easy to sort of say. So I could do it like it's multiplied by the force, or multiplied by how far he actually ends up moving. Maybe that is actually going to be the easier way. Why can't I scale this? Interesting. So yeah, say 3. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, it just needs to look better. But yeah, it's just, well, the sick one is Beanie's one. She makes like loads of arrows rain, and Lucy, she makes meteors fall down. But the best one is Sean's, because he summons units, or Basmo because he resurrects units. They're all great. It's because it's my game. I made it. Of course, they're all good. Okay, if I could get that to match, and it needs to not overlap the character. So the sprite renderer order in layer should be 0. Let's see how that goes. Maybe because it's slightly raised off the ground, it's like technically closer to the camera. Hopefully putting it at 0 won't break it. Yeah. And I just have to, I think the distance of the dash is good. I think I have to reduce the length a bit. If I could, I should be able to catch it in a scene. And then kind of scale it there. And then I'll know exactly how long it should be. And since it's a prefab and since we're instantiating, I probably don't need to like leave the game to modify it. Okay. Yeah, so I'd say the only thing is just how it looks at the tips. So it should have more of like a streaky effect from the off, right? So it should never quite. So we can kind of. use the line tool and just kind of at all times, except for this one, all times make it a bit like broken at the tips. Like that. I think that'll look better. That should look quite a bit better. Let's try that out. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a funny one with like yeah, buying the systems. I mean, because I just don't mess around with I just don't mess around with like sort of realistic 3D games, you know. But maybe that's my sort of, yeah, that looks good. Kind of dystopian. That's kind of misandrist. Oof, yeah, that's expensive. So like, I reckon for an indie, yeah, I don't know, an Unreal. I reckon for an indie you might be better off like if you're doing like some sort of diving like or like water based game. Think a bit more Dave the Diver, you know, like yeah. But I don't really know so well the game you're trying to make. Oh. Yeah, I guess. I mean, but I would sort of almost say it's the other way around, right? Like, you want to start by just making something really simple so that you will be able to make the game, but actually, like, putting together bits of code that other people have done that can be quite complex can actually be more work, right? That can actually be more tricky than just kind of keeping it a really, like, really, like, because yeah, I guess what you want is like buoyancy and all of that stuff, and the water to act like water acts. But then it's like when you actually come to like a final product, like that's going to be like a luxury. Um, Whereas what you really want is just to nail down that sort of, You know, what happens to something when it's below the water level, and how is the water level shifting? And you'd be surprised, like, that wouldn't be too crazy to do by yourself, but always better to like start simple, make something that you know you can make. So like do like surfing but in 2D, you know. Yeah, okay. um yeah, see, I think so. The fluid thing, like, you're better off just coming up with like, or even just finding some code that someone might have done for like buoyancy on water, and then just have like I mean, look at what's it called, Dredge. It's a horror game, like horror fishing game, but like they didn't bother with like realistic water because it didn't matter to the gameplay. What the game was about was the exploration. um and then if you're getting into like realistic water effects, you're in like Assassin's Creed territory, you know. Like that's so that would take, like, even with tools that kind of do a lot of this for you, you need a lot of skill to be able to do that. So I would just try. I would just have like a cartoon, get like a water mesh, right? That can kind of maybe have a bit of animation on it, or just flat water. I guess, yeah, you can't have flat water for surfing, and then like having the water curl up and shit. Like, yeah, it could be crazy. But I think even with a plugin, that's going to be really difficult. Where was I with this? So I did some changes and I wanted to see it. Yeah. So the next would be like the dashing attack. Yeah. See, like, using a bunch of plugins is not necessarily easier than making a simple game by yourself, you know? Okay, well, that dash effect's okay. Maybe the slash is fine. No, he should have his own one that's like can have a few more frames in it. That's good for like the basic slashes and shit, but yeah, he needs a bespoke one. Okay, so yeah, that dash effect is okay. I could do better, but I don't want to spend too long on this. And then so then we can have and it might end up being the same one, but let's just call it Jack slash. Yeah. Yeah, it's all right, right? Like, a bit of animation just to give the sense that he's moved a bit. So, because if you don't have that, it's just like, whoa, what happened? Where did he go? But with that, it's like, oh yeah, he's clearly just like moved ridiculously fast for a little bit. And he's using like the basic sword effect where he lands to be like, this is the damage that he did. He did a big strike with it, but I want to make something bespoke for that. I want to make something new. So we're going to call this one Jack slash, so that we never get confused. And this should be like pretty damn big in all directions. I don't know how big, but like, I mean, if a character is like this and the character is 96 by, is it 96 by, it's 96 by something, like, I think it might be 64 by 96. So let's say 96 by 96 is like a chunk of a character in like the relative thing. So this would need to be like so if that's 96, 300 would be like that. So it should be like 500 by 500, I think. I don't know if that's too big. And I'm just going to block it out first. So I'm going to do it really scrappy. Yeah, and that's with a 4 pixel wide thing. No, I think I'm going to do it 300 by 300 and just really scrap it out. So we've got our sort of air color. And I feel like it should be this like radial thing. Yeah, we could have like a few different little arcs that just kind of pop out and it would be like 3 with like some little 3 big ones with some little ones. So like really scrappy, just gonna. So it would start like right here and you could see these. And like I said, scrappy, scrappy, scrappy. If I spend too long working on this and find the size is off, then I'm not going to be happy. So, but I will still draw it just in case it does end up being correct. Oh, come on, just let me. That color palette, it should have given me a color that I'd used recently. I guess it doesn't if it's on from your palette. It's color that you've made recently. Yeah, so just nothing crazy, just bang it out. Looks like a face. And that would be frame 1. And then these would kind of all get bigger. I don't actually mind if it looks a bit like a smiley face. Again, just really just blocking it out. Not feeling super inspired about this. Like, how do I guess it should be, I should copy what I did with slash. I should copy what I did with slash, just the basic slash move. So is it in here? So we start, but just do this, but like a full 360. Yeah, I'm actually just going to abandon this and do that. I'm very much someone who thinks as I do, rather than thinking and then doing, which is probably not always wise, but yeah, like a circle rather than, so we could do like a round. So yeah, we start with something like this, just like a little blob. Let's take this and copy it in just so we can get our color palette. Because yeah, this worked. Try and just kind of get it done rather than spending forever on it. And then we like immediately, so let's in like 2 or 3 frames, let's complete the picture. So we'll complete the circle. So then we go right the way around. So we'll take this color and just draw like, so 1, 2, 3, let's say. It's like an arc that gets a bit thinner on the inside. And it's a bit brighter at the tip. Darker at the tail. It's got to look like a banana. And then we like extend it. think this is going to look crap. I need to. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I guess we actually just delete that and then do our big thick lines. Let's give that a try. That doesn't look too bad. That might work. Let's see. So 300. Okay, and then we make a prefab. Of a non, like a heel nova, let's say. Yeah, it's not too bad actually. It's not too bad at all. I'm okay with that. It's kind of organic in most places, not here, but most places. Yeah. I could even like make the gradient a bit softer because I'm kind of quite distinctly split it up into thirds, but we could sort of soften that up a bit. Okay. All right, getting somewhere. And we'll go to. We need to make that. We need to have that in weapons, so we should have our own little section. So, yeah, do we have ultimates? Do header. That, and then make sure that's set, and yeah, that should be it. And it's, you know, one down, I guess. It was looking awful before, now it's looking better. Don't know how long I expect this to take, but you know, this is good progress today. Scenes. Right to the bottom of weapons. Let's get that well. We are knocking shit off the list. Getting closer and closer to having a game. Like, I'm sort of tempted to jump ahead and start doing story soon, because again, I think that does relate to the demo. It would be nice if people knew there was a story and just do the first couple bits of the story. I feel like that would be a good idea. And then that's kind of like a big sort of future thing brought forward, taken off the list, and we're smashing it. I want to get to a point where I can just work purely on visuals. Okay, good. But what we need... So first off, same mistake I always make. Is forgetting to unloop it. And then the next part is that's pretty cool. And we just need to make sure the damage is kind of balanced. But yeah, that looks pretty good actually. It's kind of clear what's happening, and having the damage happen kind of after. So I want to like dash into someone. Let's speed things up and let's let something happen. Do it to a big pack of enemies. Yeah, I think maybe we could ramp up the spawn rate of enemies now that I feel like the players kind of gotten a bit tougher. Yeah, yeah. Maybe it could do more damage. I think it probably should do more damage. Although it like the thing about this one is that it costs about half. So the idea is like Jack is really good with ultimate artifacts because he's going to use his ultimate more often, which is cool. But yeah, that works for me. For now, at least, like we can come back to it, but I think that's definitely like it's in a much better place, and you can kind of see what's happening. Yay! I mean, I wonder if like, yeah, the slash could have been better. So yeah, and then Horseless Headman. I think he should just use the same thing. So actually, this could be a done deal already. Like I'm okay with them both using the same one. This isn't, you know, I'm just one person. I'm tired, boss. Yeah, it does more damage. I think this one should have, like, yeah, let's call this 7. And let's call this, like, 15. Let's save that before I give it a go. Chose the wrong character. I don't think I've ever actually like properly used Horseless Headman. Yeah. There's no mistaking that just happened. Yeah, nothing crazy, but you know, gets the job done, and it's clear like both of them have an impressive move now, so that is golden. Oh, yes. Okay, now we've got, yeah, both Cruel and Rowan have they do a buff to friendly units, and I think that buff should have some like it should be flashing, should be like, because it's not going to be there for very long. It's not like it's constantly going to be on the characters, but it should be like these characters are on crack right now because they got a huge buff. So first yeah, I guess we'll just jump right in when we get to that. Who has buffs? So Rowan, yes. Corral, yes. Dushatar, no. Pick and learn, no. They drop items. Yeah. To select chance people, but yeah, I just want to make sure the feel is right. Like, it feels good when you can see the effect. You summon a bunch of units, you make arrows rain from the sky or meteors. The slash effect now looks good. It was just something I didn't have. Like, it's not most beautiful thing in the world, but now we actually have an effect there rather than it just using the same as the sword slash. Blizzard will probably need some work. But yeah, the buffs should definitely be like disco buffs. So I'll be right back. I'll just be back in like 3 minutes, going for a smoke. Bye. Sorry about that, back. Right. So yeah, this is pretty straightforward actually. I think maybe the only thing I need to do, so we go to character container. We go character sprite renderer. It doesn't need to be a nested prefab anymore, but it is. In fact, I think I could delete this. I think I can delete that since the game's stable. Character sprite renderer. Yeah, I can just delete this because it only appears in the character container. Oh no, no. So first, oh dear. What have I done? No. No. This could be bad. Okay. No, don't delete. Like usually when I delete a prefab, it like keeps it. Okay, I'm gonna alert mode, right? Just gonna quickly switch off the video capture, the display capture, so I can just go dig around on my desktop for a bit and see if we still have that. This could be really, really bad. I do have backups. It wouldn't be too difficult to. Did that end up in the recycle bin? Okay. I'm going to put those. So I've got the prefab. I'm going to put it back in the folder. Can I? Does that work? What if I put something else there? Okay, I'll just have to go prefabs, show an explorer, put them in there. Okay. Okay, we're back. We saved it. Okay, good. I can turn display capture back on. Right, that was a bit of a scare. Right, so carefully first unpack the prefab and then delete the old one. Delete the actual prefab. Delete. Same goes for character canvas. So where actually is that? So let's unpack. Okay, so UI prefab, yeah, let's delete it. Download size a bit smaller. Every little helps, doesn't it? Okay, character container prefab. And status effects. So we have Cruel buff, we don't. So which one do we turn on? Character container, Cruel, add buff. Was it rogue? So we, okay, the buff's called that. Huh. Did I just not bother even making a buff? No, it's attack speed, but okay, so yeah, this should be named that. What about this one, King's Blessing? Yeah, we should call this King's Blessing. So then an add buff. And I know this is a horrible way to do it, but here we are. Wait, this is remove buff, yeah, makes sense. All right. Need to think about how good the defensive buff is actually. First, let's. I mean, because I guess it's a heal as well. It's just like heal your whole army. Okay, and then we have so then yeah, we create these. Yes, go like full, like holy yellow with white. It should flash between that and white. So we will put an animator on this. Hope that's okay. Except how do I create an animation? Or should it just... No, I think unless because it could just exist on the animation, and because it's switched off, it just won't affect it. But I think probably better. Yeah, so yeah. Okay, then we'll do... that should do it really. So then it's just going to be really obvious that the buff has happened. And then we probably need, so maybe some visual effect for that as well. But let's just give that a whirl. So we want this to work, especially for the heal one. But we'll see. So now we lost that. Yeah, and then we have to make sure that we add that. Yeah, it's like visual enough, I think. Cool. Yeah, that's like visual enough. And let's just make it a bit more powerful by saying, so we can do, so you can have armor and like AoE should just be fun. How much is it? One, so they'll get like full armor and like double AoE. and I think attack speed and movement speed might be okay, and then that's going to come down to like play testing, seeing like which one's better, which one's not. And yeah, we could have some kind of big visual effect, but that's sort of not really the standard. Like I'd like to have that, but that ends up being another project. What we wanted is just to make sure that we're not just using the slash effect for Jack and Headman, and we're not, and that the buff from Rowan and Corral is like really visible and like epic looking. Which, I mean, epic looking. It's definitely visible. It's definitely clear that something serious is happening to this character. So, yeah, that's in a good spot, I think. Let's see how fast my characters move when they've got this buff. Yeah, cool. That's fun. It's interesting. And yeah, it's exciting seeing them with that like big buff. And then my guys become invincible. Check that. I know, but they're taking very little damage. Because, yeah, I changed the way the armor worked. Yeah, like we could have some big, like, holy light come in. But it's kind of like Ultimates. They're not like sort of Ultimates in Marvel vs. Capcom or something. They could be, perhaps they should be, but like at the moment, like they just do the thing. We could have a big Holy Nova appear. So we could do like so if yeah, copying from Horseless Headman, just do a move. Yeah. So there's some visibility to it. So we go. What do what's it even called? I haven't used it for so long. Holy. Healing Nova, just to be, you know, not too on the nose. We could give him his own one where it would be like bigger or something. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, okay. That's fine for now. I mean, we can work out some kinks later, but that's basically that then. So let's try. So what we can do, but we don't need to, is do the same for Felicity. So Dark Shawn has the same ultimate, and that's fine. It's a good ultimate. It fits the game very well. Yeah, I'm thinking more of like a big sweeping wind. So we'll just kind of put this later. Felicity ultimate, big sweeping wind that damages and slows everyone. So it's more of like a one-off big magic attack, and we'll have like a effect go right past the whole screen of like a cold wind. Okay. Did I fix Dushatar's one? Yeah, it's got really high range now. Didn't seem to be getting everyone, did it? Why did I do this like this? So I wonder if that's the issue. And weapon container. Yeah, so it should be taken from range. And I just felt like the enemy, so initialize. Yeah, I want to bring this back. Or just, yeah. So that's the enemies. And then the hero, and then for spawning allies. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that back to where it was. So yeah, I think we're limited on the number of enemies we can have. And then ally spawner. Navigating the spaghetti fortress. Yeah, so that should just be the same. So that one didn't even do. So sometimes it just doesn't even do it. This isn't critical for the demo, but because it doesn't have a nearest target. And it it does it from a weapon. Yeah, hello.
Are you streaming?
Hello. Oh, what's these?
Devil spicy.
Devil spicy.
This is warning. It's got 5
That
chilies.
should be fun. Yeah. So the weapon container uses range. So that's going to be a problem, and that's why it's like it's taking the range from the weapon container. So that's why it doesn't matter what I do to the weapon. Excuse me. It doesn't matter what I do to the weapon. This just won't open. Okay, I'm going to go down and open the scissors. Yeah, it doesn't matter what I do to the weapon. It's going to take its range from the weapon itself. So I can do an AoE attack easily, but a chain attack is more difficult. And do I have on my list? Yeah. Just in case I don't already. Yeah, update. Visuals of storm cloud, so I do have that. Well, we've got this, and this is not an ultimate effect. Fix Dushita. So, I mean, it wouldn't be too difficult. We can just say chain attack asks for yeah, but the nearest one would still have to be within range. And yeah, we have to do it. We have to do chain attack off a weapon, and it's gonna ask. So let's go 20. Let's put 20 there. So we could, there's a couple ways around this. We could make Dushita's weapon 5 invisible and is the chain lightning, and we use that. Or we have to like make some sort of bespoke code to do a chain lightning attack that doesn't come from a weapon, or at least doesn't take its stats from a weapon. So, I mean, so we're going to make spaghetti madness here. This chain. Okay, that's fine. So that's going to take from the weapon chain and the character container chain, and we choose the weapon. That's why I had to like make a separate thing for weapon. Okay, well, let's see if this works, and if not, then we can kind of come back to this, because I'm a bit, I'd rather kind of tidy up my to-do list again. That's going to pop. Oh yeah, and this should be... Oh dear. Okay, no. Yeah, we're gonna have to be a bit more clever than this. Because, like, well, what was actually the problem? Okay, he doesn't have weapon container 5, doesn't he? So it'd be weapon container 4. But yeah, I'm going to end the stream there. So thanks for everyone who joined. Thanks for everyone watching after the fact. Really appreciate subscribes and all that. Thank you for joining. I will be back tomorrow at 9, and then I've got my driving test in the afternoon. So we'll see. So yeah, have a good evening. Cheers.